Hello everyone and welcome to today's TELedvisors webinar. We're looking at the support sites that we're offering in a number of our institutions. We have three guests with us today. We have Danny Liu from University of Sydney, we have Jamie Fulcher from Monash, and we have Simone Paulson from Griffith. Next up, we'll have Jamie Fulcher from Monash University. So Jamie is an experienced and passionate educator, innovator and project manager with more than 15 years experience in adult education settings. She's an excellent track record in enhancing staff capabilities and using digital technology to improve learning outcomes. She's an education designer in the Faculty of IT at Monash, where she works with academic staff to build robust learning and assessment material to engage learners of the digital age. This role reports to Monash's Office of Learning and Teaching as part of the Better Teaching, Better Learning program. Over to you.
Thanks, Colin, and hi everyone, thanks for having me on. Okay, so my talk today is on Mahara e-portfolios and just our experience with developing a Mahara bootcamp for educators. So similarly, I have a role like the last presenter, trying to get academics to sort of buy in on a daily basis. So let me just click through here. Okay. So e-portfolios, they've been around for a long time, Mahara for some 10 years, and I've used that platform extensively, but in the vocational education settings. So moving into the higher ed sector and coming to Monash, I was really surprised that they didn't have an e-portfolio tool. So, it was really we were a bit lost or a bit in the dark to how we were going to get the academics to get their heads around the concept of actually using an e-portfolio. In the Faculty of IT, we actually host our own instance of Mahara, so it's not embedded within the rest of the Monash organisations. So some other faculties, such as medicine, have things like PebblePad, but this was the first time for Mahara. So we were sort of, what were we going to do? How are we going to bring this on board? What do we know about our audience, and in this instance, our academics? And most of the time when we were delivering our face-to-face training, if they did turn up, in the Faculty of IT, they were sort of saying, just tell me what I need to know and I'll be on my way. They also had access to lots of training materials, but the flip side of it was we really wanted to put them in the students' place. So we wanted them to experience the Mahara portfolio as a student. And we wanted them to understand over a period of time the pedagogical benefits of collecting evidence, if you like, over a period of time. So we had these sort of competing things that were going up. And if you are like me and you've been a teacher and then you change roles into teaching teachers, you realise that they're a pretty tough crowd. How do you actually keep their attention? And sometimes that's not for very long. So we came up with the idea of running a boot camp. We thought what we'd do is run a 4-week program, a small spook, if you like, so a small private online course. And we started thinking about, what do we want our teachers to look like at the end of the boot camp? And if you're looking at the picture on the side there, you might be thinking, a lean, mean portfolio machine at the end of the 4 weeks. But maybe that's just what I wanted to look like. So my question really was, and I'm not sure if this is going to show up because this is an animation, but I wasn't thinking of Dory. This is, lost my slide there, but I've got another picture that's sitting underneath this one, which is a little fish with a big shark's fin on the side there. And really what it was about was I wanted to hold their attention for the 4 weeks, but I wanted them at the end of the 4 weeks to be equipped with the skills and knowledge to effectively use portfolios and also to bring the things that they had learnt across to their students. So, a good induction to what portfolios are, the reflective practice and all the things that we talk about for 21st century learners. I wanted them to really embrace that. So we broke it down into phases So phase 1 was the warm-up, and we wanted them to just sort of dabble around on the platform and develop a few pages, if you like, do some sharing. We wanted them to develop a collection, so we went into core development area, and in this particular area they were building a collection, getting communication with others in the boot camp, collecting artifacts, interviews, pictures, all of those sorts of things. Then we were going to move into sort of cross-training and talk about how you use the portfolio tool with their current e-learning platform, which in our instance is Moodle. And then we were going to move into the cool down period where we were looking at some of the other administrational things that would be, accessible to them in Mahara, and some of the other new tools like Mahara Mobile and Smart Evidence. So overarching, this is just bringing up now a picture of the student journey that we wanted them to have, and that they would go through incrementally, and it would take them maybe about an hour and a half to complete the activities throughout the week. So I had it set up that they were to find time in their calendar for 30 minutes throughout the week to complete the activities. They had the opportunity to jump online on a Thursday afternoon from 4 to 4:30 for a webinar where I would walk them through the activity process if they did run into any instructional problems. And I use things like some SCORM packaging software that took them through the activities, and then they had a printable worksheet that they could attach to their appointment that they put in their calendar or printed out, so whichever they liked. And then at the end, we wanted to give them a little virtual badge, if you like, for completing the boot camp. So we've had one iteration of the boot camp go through, and now we've had a few people come forward that would like to do it, throughout Monash and at Monash College. So we'll be looking at running version 2 soon.
That's fantastic. So what kind of response have you had, or how have you seen it sort of spilling out into people's practice?
Yes, we have. Most of the interest that I had for the first boot camp was the other educational designers throughout Monash, which in a way is a good thing because it means that they become the champions to then go forward and, run it with others in their faculty. So that's part of the reason why I decided to do it as an online presence, that maybe in the future it could be something that was sort of self-paced. I felt that most people weren't turning up to the webinar, even though it was open for them, and that told me that they didn't have any problems with the instructions, that we were giving them clear enough instruction to just go ahead and do what they needed to do, which was really, really good.
Cool. Just having a quick look through the chat. Did anyone have other questions, comments? There's quite a bit of a conversation in the chat that's come up. Yeah, and a few people, and I particularly really liked the way that you'd kind of mapped out the activities, broken it into sort of biteable chunks, if that's a way of phrasing it.
Hi, Paul.
It's Tom here. I had a question.
Great.
Go ahead.
I was just curious as to how the Mahara is used in practice. Do you have people doing, what do they do with it? E-portfolios, capstones, that sort of thing?
Yeah, we have in the Faculty of IT work integrated learning, so they're using it to capture all the artifacts within their course to show the employers when they're out on their placement. They also do a lot of project work, so they might devise a solution to a client's problem, and again they showcase the portfolio for that. In the Monash Office of Teaching and Learning, they're looking at to capture professional development for staff. So when they have their yearly work plan meetings, it'll be a way of us being able to show, you know, all the different types of things and events that we've engaged in throughout the year.
I'm just wondering if you should adopt the vocational approach where before the staff can supervise students doing that, they have to have done it themselves.
Yeah, and this was part of the precedent for doing it, was to try and get them to actually use the tool. And I felt that the best way to get people over the line, if you like, was to have a portfolio themselves. And I am an advocator of that myself.
But these aren't, in this case, these aren't formal qualifications.
In what regards? The portfolio itself?
So the staff who don't have to have obtained a qualification using an e-portfolio before teaching using e-portfolios, I presume.
No, they don't. But they don't have a professional qualification, unfortunately, for teaching, for using Moodle either. We offer a lot of professional development, and I know that this particular tool might not suit all of our academic staff, but we've had a lot of success, for example, in the research area, the work integrated learning area, and some of the other areas such as medicine that are using it as well.
Because we run the Tech Launcher program at ANU here in Canberra, and last year we got the students to use Mahara to fill in a portfolio at the end of the course, which was assessed. I was sitting around with like 9 tutors, discovered I was the only one who'd ever had to fill in a e-portfolio myself. So it was a bit nervous. It was a bit nerve-wracking for the tutors.
Oh, I see. Yeah, well, as I said, in the Faculty of IT, we're sort of running our own instance of it. It hasn't been integrated across the whole of Monash. So at the moment, it's really early adopters that have taken it on board. And as I said, the Office of Teaching and Learning have been really interested in it as a platform for capturing professional development activity and being able to sort of showcase that. So once we get our system up and running across the whole of Monash, I think that we'll see some more compulsory training. That would be nice.
Yeah, well, at ANU, the engineers and the lawyers are using it, and it's now been rolled out across the university, but I think the staff are going to need a bit more of a nudge to get them going. So these sorts of courses looked like a good idea. Can we get some materials from you on how you did it?
Yeah, definitely. I'm happy to share our content.
Okay, thank you.
Cool.
No problem.
Thank you. We have a couple more questions. So Simone was just asking, and maybe we've already covered this, how did you sell the use to the academics?
Yeah, look, it hasn't been that difficult at this stage because, as I said, it's been the early adopters. I think, and also it's sort of sounded like a fun activity to do. So most of the people were sort of coming to me. I didn't really have to sell it. Yeah, the academics themselves have to do what we call seed modules, continuing educational excellence and development. Those things they have to attend, and this was a fun thing on the side. So no problems with any participants at this stage.
Okay, and then Wendy was asking if you could just talk briefly about LX design that influenced it. So learner experience design.
Yeah, learner experience design. So I follow Joyce Satzinger quite a bit, and I like the LX pyramids that she uses, and so I do have quite a detailed document that I used, sort of working out what the communication strategy was going to be. What sort of assessments was I going to have in there, what were going to be the pain points, and that's quite a detailed thing that sat underneath it. So it really was quite a lengthy journey map. That was just for them. The one that I popped up on the screen was just for the actual participants. But I did realise that there was a lot that went on the side of that. I found lots of funny quotes and little skits and things, and I used to send them an email first thing on a Monday morning to remind them to set their calendar, then again on a Wednesday, hump day type thing, to say, don't forget, I'm here if you want to attend the webinar. And so constantly holding their hand. So I think next time I need to look at building in some automated responses, not too many, but just a couple that, didn't sort of rely too heavily on myself. Mainly because I think if I do want to bring this to a larger group and put it out for other people to use, they could get a little tripped up if they don't have that support mechanism or the time in their calendars to do what I did, which was really nurture everyone along the way, following them up.
I reckon probably 2 more quick questions. So Kate was asking, were there things that worked particularly or didn't work? Just wondering about engagement.
Yeah, I think the thing that I've learned is with the content that I said I'd put some SCORM packages together in Rise. So with those I got a bit excited and I did get quite a bit of content. So it was probably a bit lengthy, some of the activities and the videos. So I need to look at how I can shorten down the videos just to get the little snippets that I wanted from them, and probably get them sharing content a bit quicker, maybe definitely by week 2. But it was hard to know, everyone's sort of level of competency, if you like, when they first started, to how far did I want to push them into the deep end. I didn't want to scare people off, so I really did. I had some bootcamp activities, make sure you can log in, all of that sort of stuff, and then building up that framework. And I think if I'd gotten them chatting rather than me just connecting with them in that first 2 weeks, it would have probably been better. They would have been more accountable to each other as a group to get through the 4 weeks.
Cool. And just a final question from Sue, just saying, did it close after 4 weeks, or could they take longer or access the materials afterwards?
Yeah, no, I've left it open. It's all there. They can jump into it whenever they like. I've got them accessed through a Moodle site, so the intention was I wasn't going to kick them off. I was just going to leave them in there and let them go from there.
Cool. I think Chi put her hand up. So did you? Hi.
Yes, I have another question as well because I can't type, sorry. It's about e-portfolio thinking, and I think it's a really good one that you picked for PD. It's a complex thing, and you had that really colorful staged activity process mapped out, and I see it, and I see lots of how-to kind of things as well. And I wondered if you had a separate kind of thing where you take people on a journey in thinking about portfolio thinking, so why they might do this and the pedagogy behind it. Did you have that sort of PD around pedagogy for portfolio too?
Yeah, I did. I had that in the Rise package that I didn't get to show you. Probably don't have time, but I could probably have opened up my Moodle site, but I won't today. But I did, each week was sort of 30 minutes or thereabouts of learning content, and then supplemented with their activity that they, as I said, could print or jump straight over into Mahara and complete. So there was sort of the two prongs, if you like. The educational underpinning that I wanted, so how others were using it. Yeah, all that sort of framework that sat underneath it.
Great, thank you.
That's
no problem.
Sorry. That's fantastic, Jamie. Thank you. I might move on now to Simone, just so that she's got time to chat. So thank you again. I think that was a fantastic program. If everyone just wants to show their appreciation in the chat.